Crying is the only form of communication a baby has in the first months of life. They cannot say they are hungry, uncomfortable, sleepy, or need to be held. Crying is all of that at once, and it is up to parents to learn to tell one type from another, and that skill is not instinctive. It develops over time, through observation and information. During the first months of life, learning to identify different crying patterns is one of the most valuable things a parent can do, because each type of cry has a specific cause and a specific response. Responding to the wrong cry in the wrong way does not solve the problem and can increase the baby's distress. In this video, you will learn the 5 most common types of crying in the first months of life and exactly what each one is communicating. If you want more content like this about baby development and behavior, subscribe to the channel. We publish every week. Now let's get into it. Number 1. Hunger cry. The hunger cry is usually the first type of cry parents learn to recognize, and for good reason. It is the most frequent one in the first months of life. The hunger cry has specific characteristics that set it apart from other types. It starts gradually, with lower rhythmic sounds that increase in intensity as the baby becomes more agitated. Before the cry itself, the baby usually shows early hunger cues that, when identified, allow parents to respond before the crying escalates. These early cues include the baby turning their head from side to side, opening and closing their mouth, bringing their hands to their mouth, making sucking movements with their lips, and becoming restless in the crib or in someone's arms. When these signs appear, the ideal response is to offer milk before the crying starts, because a baby who is already crying intensely from hunger has more difficulty calming down to feed efficiently. The hunger cry also has a characteristic rhythmic component. It comes in cycles, with pauses between more intense crying episodes, as if the baby is alternating between crying and attempting to suck. An important point for parents: in the first months of life, the baby's stomach is very small and breast milk is digested quickly. This means the baby may feel hungry at a frequency that seems excessive, but is completely normal. There is no rigid rule about the interval between feedings at this stage. The response to a hunger cry is always to offer the breast or the bottle. Number 2. Pain cry. The pain cry is the most urgent on this list, and, generally, the easiest to distinguish from other types because it has very specific characteristics. It starts suddenly, without the early cues that precede a hunger cry. It is a high-pitched, high-intensity cry that seems to come from nowhere. Many parents describe it as a cry that startles them, because there is no gradual progression. The baby goes from a relatively calm state to intense crying in a matter of seconds. After the initial peak of intensity, the pain cry is usually followed by periods of silence, then new episodes of equally intense crying. During these episodes, the baby frequently arches their back, clenches their fists tightly, pulls their legs up, or shows other signs of physical tension. The most common causes of pain crying in the first months include colic, gas, gastroesophageal reflux, and, in older babies, teething. Colic is especially common between the first and third month of life and tends to occur at the same times of day, often in the late afternoon or early evening. What to do when facing a pain cry? First, check for any obvious physical cause, such as tight clothing, a hair wrapped around the baby's finger, or any object causing discomfort. If no obvious cause is identified and the crying persists with the characteristics described above, especially if accompanied by fever, vomiting, feeding refusal, or a change in the baby's usual behavior, seek medical attention. Number 3. Sleepy cry. The sleepy cry is one of the most misinterpreted by parents, especially first-time ones. When a baby is tired but has not yet been able to fall asleep, they can enter a state of growing irritability that results in crying. Unlike the hunger cry, which has a rhythmic pattern, the sleepy cry tends to be more monotonous and repetitive, like a low-energy cry that increases in intensity as the baby becomes more tired and more frustrated at not being able to sleep. The early sleep cues that precede this cry include the baby rubbing their eyes, yawning repeatedly, staring blankly into space, becoming less responsive to the stimuli around them, and, in older babies, pulling at their own ears. A very common cycle that parents face is this. The baby shows signs of tiredness, the parents do not recognize the cues in time, the baby passes their ideal sleep window, becomes overtired, and then has an even harder time falling asleep. When this happens, the sleepy cry can be very difficult to calm, because excessive tiredness triggers cortisol production that keeps the baby in a state of agitation even when they are exhausted. The correct response to a sleepy cry is to create the conditions for the baby to fall asleep. A dark environment, white noise or silence, a comfortable temperature, and a consistent sleep routine that the baby already associates with bedtime. Diaper changes, baths, or feedings at this point will only delay the process further. Number 4. Discomfort cry. The discomfort cry is different from the previous ones because it does not have a single cause. It represents a broad category of situations where the baby is bothered by something in the environment or in their own body, but is not in intense pain, not hungry, and not sleepy. Common causes of discomfort crying include a wet or dirty diaper, tight clothing, or a seam that is irritating the skin, a room that is too hot or too cold, an uncomfortable position, sensory overstimulation, or simply the need to be held and have physical contact. The pattern of this cry is generally less urgent than the pain cry and less rhythmic than the hunger cry. It can be described as a whimper, with pauses where the baby seems to be waiting for a response, and it intensifies when no response comes. The strategy for identifying this type of cry is elimination. Check the diaper, check the temperature of the room and of the baby's clothing, check for any seam or tag pressing against the skin, change position, offer to hold the baby. Generally, one of these actions resolves the discomfort, and the crying stops quickly. An important point about the discomfort cry: responding to it with holding and physical contact does not create dependency or spoil the baby. Research in developmental neuroscience shows that babies whose need for contact is consistently met develop greater emotional security and a greater capacity for self-regulation later in life. Responding to your baby's cry is always the right choice. Number 5. Boredom cry or need for stimulation. This is the type of cry that surprises parents the most, especially in the first months, when many still believe that young babies do not need active stimulation and are happy simply sleeping or existing quietly. The reality is different. From birth, the baby's brain is in constant development and needs stimuli to grow. When a baby goes too long without interaction, without movement, without environmental variation, or without sensory input, they may begin to show discomfort through crying. The boredom or stimulation-seeking cry has a specific pattern. It starts with softer, complaining sounds. The baby actively looks around the environment or at the caregiver's face, and the crying stops or decreases significantly when someone approaches, makes eye contact, or starts interacting. If the contact stops, the crying returns. This is an active form of communication from the baby. They are saying, "I am here, I want to interact, I need you." The correct response is exactly that. Interact. Talk to the baby, make eye contact, sing, change environments, show objects with strong contrasts, place them in different positions that allow them to explore the environment in a new way. These interactions not only calm the cry, but are directly linked to the baby's cognitive, social, and emotional development. Studies show that babies who receive consistent verbal and social interaction in the first months of life develop language earlier and have greater attention and memory capacity than babies who spend long periods without stimulation. A baby's cry is never manipulation, never an overreaction, and never something to be ignored. Hunger cry, pain cry, sleepy cry, discomfort cry, and boredom cry. 5 types, 5 causes, 5 different responses. Learning to tell each one apart transforms the routine of the first months because you stop guessing and start responding. The description of this video has a free guide with the developmental milestones of the baby's first year, what to expect at each stage, and when to seek medical guidance. Just click and download. In the next video, we cover the 5 developmental milestones every baby should reach in the first year. See you then.